Hey guys, I want to tell you about another stream of income I'm investigating. So I've talked about it before. Many of you know I've collected, I was going to say collected collectibles, well, obviously, but comics and cards over the years. I used to have some amazingly huge comic book and trading card collections, mainly baseball. But over the years, I've sold most of that to either help get the family out of debt, to pay for college, different reasons. I mean, all pretty much all my undergrad college was paid for by selling my childhood college comic book collection. And so over the years, I've bought and sold a bunch, and so really love that. But I have these two amazing cards, and if you're seeing this on video, you can see I'm holding them up. One of them is a Roger Maris, and this is back when he was playing for the Kansas City Athletics. And I think this is a 1959 Topps card, and pretty cool. And then I've got this Yogi Berra, same date, 1959. Of course, obviously with the Yankees. And so these were left to me by my grandmother when she passed away. She had these cards for years and years and years. And anytime I was at her house, I always wanted her to get these out so I could look at them. And she had some others, but these are the two most awesome ones that were left to me after she passed away. And so what I'm going to do is actually you'll see some more attachments to this podcast, especially on the video section. But I'm going to take these to GameStop. The store where people have bought video games for years and years and years. And there was also that cool stock market thing that they did a couple years ago. But GameStop is getting big time into grading collectible cards. We're talking Pokemon, Magic, baseball, sports. I mean, anything. Cards, you can take them there and they'll do what's called slabbing. When they have them sealed in plastic. They have them graded professionally, and it costs, I think it's about $25-$30. If you get the GameStop Pro plan, it's a little cheaper. You save on some of the shipping. And so I'm actually going to get the Pro plan because I think my kids are also wanting to trade in some games, things like that. And so it'll pay for itself to get the Pro plan because you actually, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll check this out in future videos that are attached to this. But if you get the Pro plan, you actually get more money on your trade-ins. And so I'm going to do that, trade these cards in. My 8-year-old is actually wanting to get some of his Pokemon cards graded because he's got some ones that are worth quite a bit of money. And so get them slabbed, sealed in plastic, graded. And I'll be honest with you, the condition on these guys, I mean, definitely not mint because, well, I know for a fact as a kid, I handled these things a ton. I mean, there's no rips or tears or anything, just pretty much regular, the kind of wear you'd see on normal baseball cards that haven't been mishandled, but they have been touched a lot. And so I'm going to get these guys graded. I don't know what they're worth, but I know they pretty much have to be worth at least what it would cost to get them graded and slabbed. So I'm going to do that. And so here's the money opportunity, the stream of income opportunity that I'm investigating. Not so much for these cards because these are a keepsake from my grandmother. I'm going to, once they get slabbed and sent back to me, I think the place is down in Florida. At least the one that does them for comics, I believe, is in Florida. But I'm going to throw these in the safe. And, maybe years and years later, I might sell them and buy a house with it. I don't know. Maybe it'll just sit in the safe and I'll leave it to my kids. And by the time my kids get these cards, they'll be worth thousands. And so cards like this, I mean, 1959, it might not be worth a tremendous amount of money now, but in the future, there are going to be fewer and fewer of these cards. It's going to become more and more rare because cards just gradually get destroyed in disasters. People lose them, people steal them, and they're taken off the market, things like that. And so that's what I'm doing. But for you, for a stream of income, if you've got a card collection, now there's tons of apps out there where you can scan your cards and see generally what they're worth. But if it's worth it, to me, if I had any cards worth $100 or more, I would go ahead and consider having them slabbed. And that way it's going to increase the value a little bit. They're protected because they're sealed in plastic. They're also, they're worth a lot more because of that. They're not going to go down in value, rather, unless the bottom just falls out of the market. And so that's what you might want to do. So check it out. Like I say, there's going to be some more videos attached to this podcast telling you a little more about it, about the setup and how you can go about doing this for yourself. But also in the comments, emails, whatever, if you've got my email, let me know what you're having checked out because I would love to hear that maybe you're having some success with having some cards graded and reselling them for more money. And just let me know what you're having graded because I just get curious about that. I love looking at people's collections, and even if it's not something I'm owning or making money off of or anything, I just get real curious. I nerd out about other people's collections of things like that. So let me know in the comments. All right. So in the previous video, I'm checking one thing right here before I start talking much more. All right. So in the previous video, I showed you the cards. I talked a little bit about the card grading system that you can have done at GameStop. And like I say, this is not sponsored by GameStop. They're not paying me any money to do this. Just letting you know what I'm doing in case it gives you a really neat idea to do something that you want to do. And so if you're listening to this podcast, you may want to be sure to go back and watch the video version of this. And that way you can also, fast forward, go backwards, take notes, that kind of thing. So I thought I would do a short video to tag into this larger one and actually tell you why I'm using the GameStop Pro membership to get my cards graded. So I looked up the prices that GameStop Pro was charging to grade the cards. And then I also looked up what PSA, which is the company that actually does the grading, if I just went to them straight without going through GameStop, how much it would cost. And with the perks and everything else at GameStop, and especially the discount I get on grading, I believe it's definitely worth it to go with a GameStop Pro account, at least on my account. Or I said account too many times, but on my end, it's going to definitely be worth it. Because not only am I going to be grading some cards, I've got another son that is wanting to grade some of his Pokemon cards, and some of my other boys, well, they all play games. That sometimes buying new systems, trading old systems, that kind of things. And so let's just look at the perks real quick. So I'm on the GameStop.com /pro, which is the website I'm looking at. And let's just check it out and go over this a little bit. All right, so you get $65 in value just for signing up. It says from $25 a year. I guess we'll get into the pricing later. But so $65 in value just for signing up, a $5 welcome reward. Let's see, 12 times $5 monthly pro rewards. So apparently you get a $5 for joining and then another $5 reward. I'm not sure what that is though, if it translates to reward dollars or what. I'm guessing it does. But you get another $5 to give it every month. Free shipping on any orders over $54. Let's see, another $5 reward when you auto renew. All right, here's what I liked that some of my kids may actually use is 10% extra cash or credit on trades. And so this includes any electronics. Let's see, and I read somewhere else on the specific card screen, you actually get more value from any, if you have cards graded and you then turn around and sell them back to GameStop, you'll get an additional extra cash or credit also for the GameStop Pro. And so, the way the process works is I'll take my cards to GameStop, fill out any forms, that kind of thing, drop them off, uh, pay for them to send it off, and then it'll go to the PSA facility. It'll come back. They'll give me a call, and then I'll just go pick them up. At that point, though, I'll also have a value on that card, and so I can decide if I want to take the card home, which I'll probably do, and or I can just if I get a decent offer from GameStop, I can sell it to them right then and actually get extra value because of the Pro. All right, so let's see, 5% off all graded trading cards, games, pretty much anything at GameStop. I get a 5% discount. Also, pro exclusive deals and drops. Let's see. Oh, and there are 4 pro weeks every year. And so, when you get deals just for the pro members, and then also 2% back in rewards, for anything I do buy also. So you can see if you do anything with pop culture stuff or games or trading cards and collectibles like that, it might be a pretty good deal for you. And so let's see, I'm scanning down the site here to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. It's just a long list. Oh, okay, that's even 5% off of clearance items as well. GameStop is one of those places that usually has a pretty healthy clearance aisle in every one of their locations. Let's see, 5% off everything. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm just scanning down the site to see if there's anything else I want to tell you about. Let's see, and it's a lot of, so they had a list at the top. Now it's just a bunch of images kind of expanding upon the things they mentioned before. Let's see. Oh, there we go. 5% extra trade credit on graded cards. And so if I do, like I said, if I have a card graded, it comes back, I decide to sell it to GameStop, I'll get 5% extra on that. And let's see. Yeah, just more things. You can elaborate on some of these. Let's see. And there are usually, this one's not mentioned, but I have also noticed before when new games come out. I think right now, as I film this, there's a new Assassin's Creed game that I believe they're taking pre-orders on. There are usually perks involved with big game releases that the pro members get special access to, whether it's an early deal, a bigger savings, maybe something extra that comes with it, that kind of thing. Let's see. Um, okay, why it pays to be a pro. Okay, so a regular GameStop account is free. That doesn't really mean anything though, because there's hardly anything that comes with that. GameStop Pro, $25 a year. So $25. And man, on the they're not mentioning the thing here about the cards, but from what I saw, I'll look it up while we're on here. But from what I saw, I can actually almost make all my money back just by getting the discount on the traded cards. All right, so trading cards. Let's see. All right, let's just go with PSA card grading as I'm looking through the website here. Just grabbing this for the folks that aren't watching this on video. All right, so here's the page for GameStop PSA. Get your cards graded with PSA. Now, the reason why it's cheaper to do this through GameStop instead of you going straight to PSA is that GameStop gets a healthy discount from PSA because they're bulk shipping tons and tons of cards to them. So they get a big bulk discount that they're passing on part of that to you. So let's see. No card minimum, no subscription required. All right, so they've got trading cards here on the one side, Pokemon, Magic, Dragon Ball, Star Wars, things like that. 18.99 a card. All right, here we go. Flat shipping fee. All right, so if you have a trading card, non-sports trading cards, 18.99 per card to have them graded. Flat shipping fee of 4.99 per order. And that's why I'm going to do multiple cards at a time. Um, Free shipping for pros though. So that 4.99 per order. And so if you have enough cards graded, I mean you've paid for your membership right there. Estimated turnaround time 45 business days. Now on sports cards, which that's what I personally am going to be having graded, $20.99 per card. I think it was about 30 bucks on the PSA website. Plus the shipping fee. It's free for the pros, and so I don't have to ship it. I just take it to my GameStop store, which is a few miles away, right beside Walmart. They ship it, they handle it. They just a mass shipping with a ton of cards. The same turnaround time. Max insured value is $500 per card. Let's see. And then, of course, they've got buttons where you can find a local store, that kind of thing. All right, so they've even got instructions here how it works. So, number one, drop off your cards. So that's easy enough. It goes to PSA where they authenticate and grade it. Oh, this is cool. Inside my GameStop account, I can log in and actually see the progress of my card at the PSA facility. And so I can see what's going on. They've got a list here. It arrives, research and ID, grading, assembly, shipped back to the store, that kind of thing. And so there's a tab here I can pick up to see PSA grading standards. And I'll be honest with you, from pictures I've seen before, when cards and comics, things like that, go to these facilities to be graded, we're talking about climate controlled, uh, heavy filtration systems to keep all the dust out. And you got guys in there wearing masks and white gloves and everything to handle all these cards and comics and things like that. And so it's pretty cool. Check it out sometime if you want to research how it's done. And then step three, once your cards are finished being graded, you'll get an email letting you know they're ready to be picked up. You can keep your cards, sell them, or trade them in. And like I said before, pros get an extra 5% on the trade-in. And then there's a bunch of FAQs down here about what is a graded card, can I sell them, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Okay, yeah, let's check out this one. Will GameStop Pro members receive any benefits? See if there's anything extra I have not seen. Okay, no, it just mentions the free shipping and the additional 5%. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the video there, and I'll add a lot more videos onto this entire podcast. So for you it'll just be a few seconds. For me, it could be submission takes about 45 days, and so it'll be a while for me. But I'll come back and show you what talk about the process and show you what happened with the cards. And I hope you're enjoying this. So I'm going to go ahead and go though because I've got one of my kids who is sitting in front of my desk just staring at me. He's been outside working. I have a large pecan tree, actually several, here on the farm, and we don't. We're currently not selling the pecans. Plus, we lose a lot just where they fall on the ground or they're old. And so I have my kids pick them up and we put them in the driveway, basically as gravel. Pecan shells are so hard that it makes for good gravel for the vehicles on the dirt road. And so I pay my kids to pick up dead pecans. And so I'm going to shut down this video and see how much money I owe him. And see you all on the next one. Y'all take care. All right, guess what? I just got back an email from GameStop grading service. I'm reading this on the other screen right there. Congratulations, David. PSA has finished grading your cards. The results are in, blah, blah, blah. And so I'll show you that, and then I'm going to do my login and everything and show you exactly what they said. So there we go. That's the email I just got, and looky there. There's my 1959 Yogi Berra and my 59 Roger Maris with white back. And so I'm going to pause this for a second, go ahead and log in. All right, so it turns out I didn't have to actually log in, do password and stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on it and let you see the full process. So there we go. Now we're waiting. There it is. Almost. Oh, there we go. So that is my card, one of them that I just had slabbed, 1959 Yogi Berra. Now here's the thing, the great sentimental value with this, because this one came to me from my grandmother when she passed away. She had a stack of old baseball cards, and I would sit and look through those things for hours when I was at her house, because I was a huge baseball card collector, loved anything to do with baseball and baseball cards when I was little, and so this card was one of the ones from that stack. And so, I just now thinking, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I do want you to keep listening because I'm talking about the process, but you might enjoy this one also on the video because you can actually see the card that I'm talking about. So this is an actual photo from PSA of the scanned card, front, back, while it's been slabbed. And let's see, I got a grade of good too. So not great. Like I said, as a kid, she didn't know the value of these things. And they were used by the time I got to them. They came to her from her son. And so my uncle. And so I would thumb through these too. And so they've been touched a lot. And so look there. There's the actual price estimate. Now here's the thing though. Let's go ahead and scan down. You can see a sales history. I'll click on that in a second. But we scan down a little more information. Let's see. There we go. Sales of similar items. You know what? Let's click this real quick and see if it just goes right to it. No, it's taking me somewhere different. All right, PSA auction prices by grade. Oh, wow, this is awesome. Okay, so here, this is pretty cool. So you see that PSA 9, there are 24 known in existence, and they are valued at over $5,000, or at least they've sold recently for over $5,000. Now, here's an interesting thing, though. The PSA 8, look at that. The average price, $165. Most recent price, so somebody sold a PSA 8 version of this card for $10.50. But you can see as we go down through here, mine is a PSA 1. There are 64, 64 graded cards from PSA of this particular card of this condition, and so average price though $34.50. Most recent price $43. Now, like I was saying earlier, let me go back to this original one. Like I was saying earlier, even though it has what's considered the PSA estimate price. Here, let me turn the camera back to me for a second. So those of you that aren't into cards or card collecting, even though it has that average sale price or what it's sold for before or the PSA estimate, basically though, the more rare this card gets, the more it's worth. And so not only, this card is sentimental value, so I wasn't having it graded so I could sell it. But the thing is, maybe when I pass away in 50 years or more, I'm 50, so 56 years at least, when I pass away, there aren't going to be as many of these cards around. Things will happen to them. People will hide them in their collections. They're not for sale. Or they'll be destroyed in floods or hurricanes or wildfires, burning people's houses down where they've got these collections. Innumerable things happen to collectibles. And so as more time goes on, the collectibles become more rare. And so this card being graded, it's safe. I mean, if there's a wildfire here, it's graded and slabbed. It's going to go in my safe, my waterproof, fireproof safe. So it's pretty safe that way. And I plan to just leave this to my kids or my grandkids. Maybe one of these days, one of them will put a down payment on a house with this card, which will be way more valuable in another century. Well, it depends on how long I live. All right, so let's go back to the computer screen and we'll check out the Roger Maris card. All right, flipping back. There we go. All right, let's go back to the email and There we go. There's the Roger Maris card. And I like this one pretty cool. But this was actually before Roger Maris was with the Yankees. And so at this point, he's still with the Kansas City Athletics. And so there's the 202 Roger Maris white back. And so a little more rare, maybe. Let's see what the value is. Oh, 74.35. So this one, the PSA estimated value, a little more actually than that Yogi Berra. It is in a lot better shape. And so Yogi Berra was a much more famous player. At least to me, when I look at these cards, I probably actually played with that one way more. But let's see what some of this says. All right. There's some of that. All right, here we go. Sales of similar items. So it's gone recently for, and when I say recently, that's last year's prices, but not very much, not very much. So let's go back here to the sales history. See what that says. All right, so, all right, auction prices by grade. All right. Yeah, so you can see that. But look, there, PSA 9, there are 15 of those that are slabbed and graded. And of course, the number just gets bigger there. And, you know, when it gets lower and lower, at some point, it's diminishing returns. Like, why would you pay this much to slab a card that isn't worth as much as it costs to get it slabbed? Well, I'll tell you why. Let me do the camera back to me again. So, just like I told you with the rarity, and as time goes by, that's why you might pay more than a card is worth to get it graded and slabbed, because if there's a chance that card is going to be rare, more and more rare as time goes on, might be a good idea to do that. These two cards came to me from my grandmother, like I said, when she passed away. And I had them sleeved, I had them in the safe already, but this is going to protect them. I wanted to have them graded and slabbed and everything to protect them for the future. So they're not back to the GameStop yet. This is just the email from PSA. So the next email I'll likely get is one from GameStop themselves saying my cards are back at my store, my local store where I sent them in. And so I'll let you know more about the process as I go to pick them up, things like that. But overall, it's been a very easy process to navigate. I just went to the GameStop. You've seen in the other videos where I talked about it. Dropped them off, paid a few bucks, and then wait. Now, when you do this, PSA is busy. And now that GameStop is sending bulk cards to PSA, they're even more busy. And they're making a ton of money. I mean, I don't know if PSA is a public company, but it might not be a bad idea to invest in GameStop and PSA. Who knows? But they are super busy. So drop off your cards and then just don't set a schedule. Don't wonder what's going on with them. Just wait for those surprise emails. So I'll update you as soon as I get the cards in hand. All right, guys, just one day. No, not even like 12 hours after I just filmed that last video section where I got the grades on my baseball cards, I got an email that said my cards are ready. They're at the store, had the address of the store, which it's my local one, but told me to head to the GameStop, pick up my cards, and I'm ready. There's the GameStop right there. And so getting ready to go in and get my cards. Once I get back to the office, a little more temperature controlled as opposed to, you know, getting them out here in the car and everything. I'll show you what they look like. Hey, just wanted to shoot a quick video now that I have the cards in hand and show them to you. There we go. You know what? Actually, that is a horrible lighting. Let me move over here. The other lighting's behind. There we go. Much better. So that's the two cards. Now that I've got them in hand. The process, super smooth, super easy to do. There's QR codes on the back. That way, if I want to look up info about the cards themselves, like what they've sold for, things like that in the past, I can look that up super easy. And so now these two guys are going in the safe. Like I told you before, they're not worth a whole lot of money. But the thing is, they're actually pretty rare. And I'm just going to put them in the safe, and that should be worth a lot of money when the kids get them someday. One little tidbit that I wanted to add that's actually kind of cool about these cards is they're made so that they just stack. So if you've got a ton of these and you're putting them in the safe or whatever, it's actually pretty neat because it's room saving. Also, I'd mentioned before previously that my son sent off one of his Pokemon cards to get it graded. I got an email back from PSA and said the card could not be graded. It didn't exactly say why either, just that it couldn't be graded. What I suspect is that it's probably a counterfeit Pokemon card. He's gotten Pokemon cards from so many different places, and I told him before he sent it off to have it graded that the chances of this one being the card that is worth that much money, very low, very slim. I assumed it would get graded and slabbed and just come back with a low value. But, you know, if it's a counterfeit card, they won't even grade it. They look at it, they say, yeah, that's garbage. But here's the thing. They refunded the money. that he had paid to have it graded. So that was pretty cool. They didn't even charge for the time or anything. And right now it's on its way back to the GameStop for me to pick it up and bring it home and let him play with it again. All right, I think that's the end of this whole process. And so I hope you've enjoyed this little foray. If you're listening to this on the actual podcast, you're not seeing all the visuals. And so best place to watch this one is on YouTube, where I'm showing the emails, showing the cards themselves, all that kind of good stuff. That little beep you just heard. I'm filming some UGC videos right now for some commercial clients, and told me that the timer on this hydrogen water bottle that I'm getting ready to film a video for is done. So I'm going to go film that video. Y'all take care.